I don't think they're worth it, honestly, in my own opinion.
There might be a bigger gain in it than I thought, but we'll find out over a lap time. Woo! That's my fast slab I've ever done here.
G'day guys, I'm Dalton Ellery. We're here today at Morgan Park. I'm in my i30n, the Hyundai. Great car, 21 DCT. What I really wanted to just do a quick test of is whether these little aftermarket air filters are good or not. And I've seen a lot of comments about this on the Facebook groups, other forums and stuff like that as well. I don't think they're worth it, honestly, in my own opinion. That the side effects that these cause are not worth the power gain that you get. I actually don't think you feel the power gain. I have had this in my car before. When I went down to the N Festival last year at Sydney, I threw it in for the first time. And then I've had it in today as well. And I was sitting in the car just before and I was thinking to myself, I don't notice any difference. What they look like when they are in, like that. They look a bit cooler. They definitely look like more of a performance part compared to the stock one, which is this one. So these ones like a paper sort of cloth type material, and those ones are like a mesh. They're definitely a lot thinner on the actual material part. But yeah, so yeah, I honestly don't think that it is as good as people say. But anyway, we're going to test it. We're going to go out and we're going to do 15-minute sessions. So I'll probably go out and do 3 laps, a warm-up lap and then 2 rolling laps. Come in, flick this stock one in, which has probably done about 20,000 Ks on it, so it's not new by any means, and then go out and do another 2 laps. These used Potenzas. They were brand new a few track days ago. The rear ones have been used a lot. The front ones were newish, but they have done a solid 60 odd laps today, so they are starting to show us signs of wear. The rest of the car's stock, it's on stock suspension. The only other thing that's radiator and an intercooler done from PWR was predominantly to get the car cooler, but it hasn't really done that greatly. Although today I've had pretty good temps, but it is also 11 degrees. So yeah, so we'll go out there in just a moment and we'll see how this goes. So one more thing I wanted to mention, I left my gloves at home. It's the first time I've ever driven aggressively on a racetrack, I think, with like a real intent without racing gloves, and I feel a bit naked. So anyway, there's only me and this radical coming out on the track, so we've got pretty much the whole track to ourselves. I'm gonna let this radical go, so I've got a bit of time because he's not the fastest bloke. So this is Morgan Park. If you've never seen it before, it's a great circuit. One of my favourites, probably my 3rd favourite track in Australia, if I'm honest, behind Bathurst and Phillip Island. But anyway, let's go. Great last corners here to get the lap started. Really aggressive, using all the right on the way up. Hard on the brakes. Coming off, back on the gas a little bit, then easy on the brakes. Great corner, great section of corners, those 3. Shift to get us down the hill a bit quicker. Tap the brakes, make sure there's pressure, because this is fast. End green shift there, just to get us up the hill. Shift down. End green shift again. Find out what the lap time is. aggressive on the braking just then. Bit of oversteer, too much brakes. Overdriving the car this lap. No way. There is no way. 125.4. That makes more sense. It's been a while since I've been out here. It's probably been 10-ish months since I've been out here to this track in my car. But that was the fastest lap I've ever done in this car around this track. So 124, I cracked into it finally. Leave it in neutral, unlock my car, put a window down in case my car auto locks. It has happened to me before. So let's do this.
Gotta spoil my own party here. I actually didn't do a 24, unfortunately. My timer was off by about half a tenth. So the official timing that was on for the day from having a transponder on is going to be overlaid. And then I'll overlay that as well for the rest of the laps as well. But yeah, thought it was a good lap. Unfortunately, it wasn't as good as I thought.
Alright, straight away, it does feel like it's missing a bit. There might be a bigger gain in it than I thought, but we'll find out over a lap time.
Alright, this is Dalton from the future talking. Don't want to spoil it or anything, but just to save time in the video, I did run out of fuel. So we're just going to skip to that part.
This is actually a pretty smooth lap so far, so I'm trying to pay as much attention as I can. I might have just cooked it. Oh no! I'm getting a fuel surge. Alright, so we've filled up my car. It's cooled down a little bit. It's only been like 10-ish minutes. So let's go back out and give it a go, eh? I will admit, my opinion did just change very, very slightly. I am open now to the possibility that the K&N air filter may actually provide a better performance factor on a circuit than the stock one, but I'm going to go back out and I'm going to try and replicate the lap as closely as I possibly can. Down the hill to give us a little bit more, just like I did before. Up the hill as well. And up to the straight. It's flying down. This feels pretty good. K&N filter is actually better. That lap I just did was tidier than the lap I did with the K&N filtering. And at least on my phone, it's saying that I was 4/10 slower. So if that's anything to go by, the race response, the power build-up seems to be far quicker with the K&N filter on. So when I put my throttle down, it feels like it's getting air quicker. I mean, 4/10 is quite a lot. I don't think there's 4/10 in it, maybe 2.
Alright, so let's get into the data. Firstly, the data from my phone isn't perfectly accurate. It gets really bad GPS signal when going around corners, but down the straight it's mostly okay. I plan to get a professional race timer at some stage in the future, but for this comparison we're going to be relying on the phone's lap times and top speeds. My top speed with the performance filter was 184.7 km per hour, compared to 183.9 km per hour with the stock filter. So that's about 0.8 km per hour, barely even a kilometre. It's worth noting that on the second lap with the stock filter I was actually 3/10 faster in the first sector, which basically suggests that the times would have been closer without a slide and then getting held up. Additionally, I had 20 kilograms more fuel in the second session, which can impact the time by about 1/10 per 10 kilograms. I would say that by the end of it, I had used up around 15 kilograms of fuel doing those extra 4 laps. So overall, the performance filter is slightly faster with a real difference of about 1 to 2/10. Fuel load did play a role in the results, and so did getting held up. It's worth noting.
So yeah, I think that the differences were bigger than I thought, but they're still not massive. I think we're talking about a few horsepower. There's a difference, and it's there. I can feel that. I think that the stock one feels like it's quite good in the mid-range, between about 4.5 to 5,500 revs. After that, it feels like it's really being choked. It's struggling. That top end RPM, it really you feel that power drop increase as it goes up. Whereas with the other one in, you don't feel it as much. It feels like the car just wants to keep revving. It wants to keep accelerating. There's a difference there. Now, whether most drivers are, I just don't see how most people are going to feel that. I just do not think they're a modification that is going to get a normal person time. If you're a good driver, and be honest with yourself, then yeah, I think that the K&N filter has a performance gain, absolutely. So I reckon there's 2/10 in it. Genuinely, being honest, I think that there's 2/10 between the stock filter and this filter around this track. Other tracks are going to be different. You go to a longer track, you're going to get more time out of it. Shorter track, you get less time out of it. All right, so, and then there's one more thing that we need to talk about too, which is the price point of these filters. Now, I got mine for around $130-ish, which is pretty good. The thing that you've got to remember though is that these require maintenance. Being that they're a lubricated filter, you can't just like let it sit there and use it all day every day, because eventually its protectiveness is going to be lost. Now, I think if we were to go and do a tune to these things, I think you'd see an even bigger difference. I think that if you were to tune a car, you would need more air, and those filters would allow that more air. But then again, I think that there's better system. I don't think that day-to-day use you would want to have one of these in your car, or you would not see a difference accelerating to 100 kilometers an hour. It would be milliseconds, if any. Because the biggest thing that these cars struggle with is traction. Front-wheel drive cars, the engines can only be so fast with what's underneath them. So yeah, I think we've got our answer. Should you use these on a track? Cautiously. And if you're a good driver, you'll be able to get time out of it. But if you're not, and you might just end up frustrated that you're not getting results. It's not a magical modification. You're not going to go out and feel night and day changes. You're going to need to put in some good work to get time out of these. I will continue using it on the track just because it is that little bit better on the track. But when I'm done, out, gone. Straight back into the other one because I want to look after my car.
Alright guys, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to what I have to say. Hope I didn't blabber on too much or talk too much rubbish. I do have some pretty cool stuff I'm planning in the future. I do have a trip to Bathurst coming up in a few months where I'm taking my car down there. First time going there in a couple of years. I can't wait to get back down there. Any lap that you get to do around that place is just absolutely phenomenal. The excitement that I have to get back down to the mountains is just absolutely crazy. So if anybody has any requests or of any content that I can do while I'm down there, please let me know at the earliest stage. I'm only going to be there for a day, so I don't have a lot of time. So if you can let me know, any requests or any type of content that you want to see of these cars going around there, yeah, just let me know, and I'll do my best to try and accommodate it. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys later.